So what are the best strategies that are going to help you guys win in Garden Terror specific to your rank? There's a lot to take in about this map, but this 5-part guide is going to help you guys crush it in Storm League. Whatever rank you are, wherever you're at, this is the guide for you. Let's jump right into it right now. Hey, what is up guys? Chillrogg here, bringing you another map guide. This week we're going to talk about the same as usual. We're going to talk about our 5-part setup we usually do. We're going to talk first about the map basics. Then we're going to talk about the draft. Then we're going to talk about the lane setup, part 3. Part 4 will be the strategy, and part 5 we'll review the most important parts at the end. So part 1, the map basics. Let's review the map basics. Garden of Terror is a large 3-lane map, very large. You're going to have the top lane, the middle lane, and the bottom lane. In this map, there's an unprecedented amount of camps. You're going to have 6 camps on this map, no bosses, but 6 camps. You're going to have 2 siege camps on your side and 1 bruiser camp on your side, and the opponents are going to have 1 bruiser camp and 2 siege camps as well. Not quite symmetrical, but the same type of camps, the same quantity of camps for each team. As usual, these camps are going to be available at the 1-minute mark. The siege camps are going to respawn every 3 minutes, and the bruiser camps are going to respawn every 4 minutes. That's the same for all of them. Now, on this map, there are going to be 6 objective areas. You can see them with these little circles. Here's the first one spawns here. It spawns randomly, but it happened to spawn here. You see 1 pad, 1, 2, 3 circles in the bot jungle area between the middle and the bot lane. And there's a top jungle area also between the middle and the top lane. And there are 3 objective areas. There's a total of 6 possible locations the objective can spawn. The objective always spawns somewhere, one of these 3 spawn locations in the bot area, in the bot jungle. Always starts with the bot jungle. It could either be on your side, it could be a neutral, or it could be on the enemy side. On this side, they have advantage, obviously, because they can back up to their well easily, or they can retreat easily, and you have a long way to retreat, much further away. On your side, you have similar advantage. Neutral is neutral. Same thing at the top. We have 1 for your side, 1 neutral, and 1 for the enemy side. Now the first one will always be bot, and it will flip-flop. So the first one will be bot, then the next one will be top, and the next one will be bot, and the next one will be top. It'll just keep flip-flopping bot, top, and go on like that. Now prior to the objective spawning, you're going to see, you see on the minimap a little flower spawns there, and it marks where the objective is going to be. You can tell the next objective is going to be in this middle thing, and it's not quite spawned yet, but the minimap gives you this little preview. As time progresses, you'll get a 30-second timer, as we just did here. The little plant thing that was kind of faint and hard to notice before starts lighting up, and it starts becoming very prominent on your minimap. You can really see it, and this little thing starts spawning here. It really marks it for you where it's going to go. But you can see it far in advance if you look for that minimap, that little flower. The 30-second countdown is really prominent, and it's hard to miss. For that, you have advanced notice. You can set up, you can get there early, and you should do that. Once the objective spawns, there's 4 little plant guys, and these can either be killed or a tank can kite them. You see how they're all kind of going after me? We can get all their attention, and someone else can cap them while the tank's kiting them. You kill these guys, or your tank grabs them and kites them, and then you channel the objective. This is just like Cursed Hollow, really. Just like Cursed Hollow, so now we channel it, and it's kind of a long channel. It's a 6-second channel, and then once you get all the way through, then you get one. So you see in the bottom right, we have 2 out of 3 for our team. Once you get 3 out of 3, then you get an objective. So it really doesn't do anything until you get 3. You win 3 of these flower channels. Once you capture all 3, then you'll spawn some terrors. You'll spawn 1 terror in each lane. You can see this is the most powerful objective in the game. You can see it spawns 3 in each lane. Now the Garden Terror uses 2 abilities once you get them. 1, it spawns a potted plant. You can see it here, and the potted plant disables the buildings. And then 2, it does an AoE stomp. It won't AoE stomp here, because it usually does it when heroes are in range. So the AoE stomp ability is just like the AoE stomp the boss does on Cursed Hollow. It's the same kind of a thing. It'll kill all the minions, and it'll kill heroes. It also auto-attacks, as you can see. Something important to note, I wasn't speaking lightly when I said this is the most powerful objective in the game, especially considering the tower changes. It disables towers are really strong. The team that captures this first has almost a 73% chance to win the game. It's so strong, they get such a snowbally advantage for getting that first objective. It's hard to come back. Once you win that first objective, whoever gets the first one, they increase from 50 to 73% chance of winning. That is really, really massive. Try to think of this objective as like Cursed Hollow. It turns off the structures, but you also get like a Tomb of the Spider Queen objective. Pushes a large pushing monster like Tomb of the Spider Queen, and also turns off the structures. It's like 2 objectives combined into 1. Not quite, but kind of. Now there's something else to think about. There's the core ability on this map. The core ability, this is a very strong core ability. It's a very long polymorph. You'll see it. The exact core ability says every 5 seconds the core shoots. Here, look at this seed. I'll stand it on purpose. So look how long that polymorph is. Look, I'm CC'd for so long. That's crazy. Every 5 seconds, the core shoots seed under nearby enemy heroes. So every 5 seconds. And it's a 3-second polymorph. And it's this big red AoE. If you stand in it for a second, you get polymorphed. And that's a 3-second polymorph. That's a really, really long polymorph. The last thing about the map basics to talk about here is the Nexus Anomaly. The Nexus Anomaly on this map is Rainstorm. A Rainstorm is periodically granted to all heroes, granting 15% movement speed and causing them to deal at scale, so a small amount of AoE damage to nearby enemies, and it lasts 8 seconds. This is really useful for clearing the camps, because you're always going to be doing camps on this map. There's so many camps to do, and it gives you wave clear as well. So you can see it in action here. I just got hit with it. and we'll use it to kill some minions. Actually, I just ate the polymorph, but you can see it still shreds the minions. See how the minions are taking damage from it? That's the end of it. So we'll ask the Nexus anomaly. You can see it's on me now. You can see it ticking this AoE damage, and it does it pretty quickly. It only lasts 8 seconds, but it gives you a little extra camp clear. Gives you a little extra wave clear. It's a pretty nice addition if you find yourself in need of wave clear or camp clear. Only thing to be careful of, if you're kind of a divey melee assassin, be careful about diving into a bunch of enemy heroes, like a Grey Maiden or an Illidan. You dive in against a bunch of enemy heroes, they'll all have it on them, and all of those enemy heroes are going to be ticking on you. So if you dive into the middle of 3 or 4, you'll be getting hit by 3 or 4 of these AoE rainstorms, and whatever they're hitting you with, you're going to take a lot of damage really fast. So be careful of Rainstorm on this map and use it for a little extra AoE. Let's jump into part 2, the draft. We went too hard during the first objective and we won here. It actually is really powerful. Look, unchecked, this objective took a bunch of forts and almost all the keeps just on its own without me even doing much. So there's a few things to think about here for the draft. There's 5 types of heroes you want to think about for the draft. We'll go through, and you're going to want to shoot for like 2 to 3 of these types of heroes. You don't need all of them. The first thing you're really going to need on this map, you might have guessed it, is Merker. Someone who can do camps. Illidan is nice. Greyman is nice. There's a lot of options. So Rhaegar, Jaina, Samuro. Someone who can do a lot of camps. This map is massive. Look how big. We talked about it earlier. There's 3 lanes. There's a lot of ground to cover. Globals are really nice here. Keep them in mind. Some standard ones. Dahaka. That have good win rates here right now. Deathwing. AoE damage is also nice here. AoE damage might come as a surprise. You might say, why AoE damage? But if you look around these objectives, look at all the choke points. There's basically nowhere to stand besides a choke point. If you have to back up here, there's one way to go. You're going through this choke point, and AoE damage will wreck you. If the enemy team gets chased through here, they're all going in the same direction. They're going to get wrecked by AoE abilities. Through here, choke point, choke point, choke point. Around these objectives, it's all choke points. Look at this. Little tiny narrow corridors to go through, little squeaky little areas. There's no wide open areas. It's hard to dodge abilities because they're always squeezing yourself through these narrow choke points. Like pretty much everywhere is the same thing. Just hard to pass through little areas. If you happen to be something like Deathwing and you're channeling a giant fiery breath, it's going to be, through here, picture, it's going to be very hard to dodge it. There's no way to dodge it, actually. You're just going to have to eat it. Same thing with, picture Orphea, a nice big Orphea ultimate, a big feast. You're going to drop it and everyone's going to be stuck in it. Jaina is also nice. She's good in these choke points. She's also very good doing camps. So, Jaina does pretty well on this map compared to other maps for her. Another thing, gankers are not bad here at all. Look how much jungle there is here. You have your 3 lanes. 1, 2, 3. It's a bit like Cursed Hollow. A lot of the map is occupied by jungle. Look how much in the map. Oh, it's so big, this jungle. Look, here, here, here. All so much jungle. Heroes are rotating through here. There's a lot of bushes. Look at all these bushes. Really unusually large number of bushes. Good gank opportunities. People are going to be doing camps. Picture a butcher and like a Diablo hanging in this bush here or hanging in this bush here. And a Jaina has been soloing camps all game. Jaina walks up to this camp. Butcher and Diablo are hanging here and they just go on her and they kill her and take the camp. There's a lot of ganking opportunities in this map, so consider some gankers. Some high win rate gankers for ranks between bronze and platinum, which is where I assume a lot of people watching this are in. A Samuro, Butcher, and Valera. Those 3 have very high win rates. If you're already good at those heroes, consider taking them on Garden of Terror because there's just a lot of opportunity to get free kills on Garden of Terror. People are rotating and you can pick them off very easily here. The least important thing is Poke. Poke, you don't really need it too much, but if you have it, it's like a nice little bonus. It's not as important as anything else. Poke is nice because when people are channeling this, you can poke them and interrupt it and delay the objective. Not nearly as important as controlling the map with mercs, controlling the team fight with AoE damage, or controlling the map with globals. That's really the least important thing, but while someone's channeling this, if you're like a Zarya with grenades, you can, poke them. Least important thing, but it's nice if you have it. Part 3 is the lane setup. A lot of the times in part 3, the lane setup is very important. Here, it's not so important. The lane setup, you can really do anything you want as long as all 3 lanes are being soaked. You need all 3 lanes to be soaked. And someone's doing camps. 1 person, 2 people, doesn't matter. But all 3 lanes need to be soaked and someone needs to be doing camps pretty much all the time. Whatever you want to do for lane setup is fine. You can have, 1 in each lane, 1 ganking and 1 doing camps, 2 doing camps, 1 in top and mid, someone double soaking mid and bot. Whatever you decide to do is fine as long as all the lanes are soaked and someone's doing camps. Part 4, the strategy. Let's jump in there. So the strategy. The first objective spawns at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It'll also spawn in the bot lane like we talked about earlier. It always spawns in the bot lane first. So what does this mean exactly for you? This means with a little bit of advanced planning, you can do something very nice. What you want to do, if you're the Merker, if you can encourage the Merker to do this, do the bottom first, then do the middle Mercs here, and then do the top ones last. Why do you want to do that before the first objective? You want to do that because you want this top camp to be pushing top lane while everyone's fighting over the bot objective, because you know the first objective is going to be bottom. So that means you start with this one, you start with the bot camp, you go to the middle one, and you finish with the top one. So you'll finish all 3 camps before the first objective, which is important to do because, little time out to talk about why that's important. It's important to do that because you need to do the camps right away, or you need to do them close to right away at least. If you're holding back on them for timing, that's okay, but not for too long. When you do them and finish them and you cap them, you get experience. And if you keep capping them right away when your opponent doesn't, you're gonna get an experience lead. I'm gonna win you the game if you get an experience lead. You know, you'll be up a talent tier, you can force advantages. So that's really big. You finish the camp early, it'll be up sooner, you can cap it again and again and again, and that experience really keeps adding up, and that's gonna get you a nice lead. But you do want to go bottom to top. You do all 3 right away before the first objective, and you finish top, so the top camp pushes top and really eats away at these towers while there's a long prolonged fight over the bot first objective. For the future objectives, look at the minimap preview. You know, you'll see bottom will be the first one, and then you know top, look at the minimap preview, see where it's going to be, and try and have a camp pushing the opposite lane if you can for every objective. It's not going to happen every time, but if you can get a camp always pushing the opposite lane, you're just going to wreck structures for free. It's going to be a nice advantage, and it's not really going to cost you anything. It's also in Cursed Hollow a little bit in the way that you can give up some, and you should give up some objectives without contesting them. So look at the objective. So on this one, you see it's on our side. Every time an objective is about to pop up, 30 seconds, maybe a little bit before 30 seconds, think, are we going to contest this one? And what you want to take into account is, do you have an advantage? Do you have a disadvantage? Think about it that way. So if it's on your side, you have an advantage. If it's on their side, you have a little bit of a disadvantage, but it's not really a big deal. Don't give it up if everything else is even. Did somebody just die? You're 4v5? Give it up. Does the enemy have a talent tier? Give it up. Don't contest if you have a big disadvantage, and you can let them through. It's okay, because the enemy has to get 3 of them. There's also a common strategy I feel like it is important to mention, where you have no intention of capping the objective. I mean, if you can, that's great. But if you have someone like a Dahaka or a Zagara pushing the opposite lane, you just poke forever and you delay and you delay. Say you have a Zagara pushing top and you have like a Joanna bot with like a Chromie, maybe a Vala who can just get a multi-shot off and run back. And you all just kind of rotate cooldowns and don't really commit and just keep poking. This only is really going to work well if it's on your side, because if it's on their side and you keep trying to poke, they're going to run you down and kill you. But if it's on your side, you can kind of get cheeky. You can play from, you know, close to your fort. You can run up, throw out a skill shot. Illidan can't. Picture your Vala. You run up, you throw out a skill shot, and you run back to your fort, and you keep delaying and delaying. Zagar maybe gets, you know, a lot of value, some walls, a well, a fort. That's more of an advanced play, and you really only want to try and do that if you're in comms with some friends. But that's a nice way you can get some advantage. You can trade one objective for, hopefully, the goal is at least a wall, a well, and some of the fort. Now, if you are going to contest, you think about you. So pretty much every objective, it's going to spawn on your minimap, and you're not going to wait for the 30-second timer. You're going to just look on the minimap, and you're going to see that little flowery pre-indication, and that's going to be enough for you. You're always going to be looking for that pre-indication of where it's going to be. And you're going to be planning in advance, are we contesting this one? And if you are, get there early. Get there probably for 30 seconds early is good. Get there early and set up and be there ready. So what's the advantage of that? There's one first obvious advantage. If you're playing heroes that need to set up like Deckard, have 5 potions down ready for the team fight, that's a big advantage to get there early, get set up. Gazlo have 100 turrets down, Probius have 100 turrets down. Heroes that need to set up, definitely be there early, but be there early anyway, because if you're here early, you know, say it's on their side even, say it's on their side, you know, and you all get here early, get here, wait, you get here 30-second mark early, nice and early, and you're sitting in this bush when this spawns, you know, say there's 4 of you in this bush, someone is going to rotate, maybe even a solo DPS is going to rotate and face check this bush, or start doing this camp casually, being like, we still have 30 seconds to the objective, I'll just do this camp quick. And you guys can get some free kills, and that free kills is going to lead to free objectives, and it's going to lead to wins. So if you get there early, there's a lot of places to hide, to hang in these bushes together and just wait in these choke points, because people have to walk through them, and there's all these bushes you can hide in, and you can get some picks before the objective. So get there early and get set up. One last tip that one of the Masters player in our community Discord recommended, reminded me that I have to throw in this video. This is from Hisha, Masters player on North America. He said, don't forget to mention the strategy of, if you know the enemy team's going to be late, have a tank kite these, you know, pick these up and have someone cap immediately. You can get this kind of surprise objective. You can get this picked up in about 6 seconds. Have your tank pick them immediately and have your DPS or 2 DPS channel right away, just to make sure one of them gets through. If the opponent's running a little bit late, that can be a freebie. Now, if you lose the objective, if you've lost it, the enemy team's gotten 3, and the Garden Terror is pushing against your fort, what do you do? How do you defend? Now, you always split 3 ways before level 10, no matter what. You're gonna have one person at each lane, soaking and defending, both. The Garden Terror is gonna come up, and it's going to drop a potted plant in your fort. The potted plant has 1800 health no matter what. It always has 1800 health. The very first objective to the very end of the game, it has 1800 health. So what does this mean? Early, it doesn't really make sense to attack the potted plant because it's too much health for early game. 1800 health is too much for you to burn through at an early level, better to ignore the potted plant and just kill the garden terror at early levels. Now, later, usually my rule of thumb is the first objective, unless the first objective is insanely late. First objective, ignore the potted plant. Later objectives, kill the potted plant first. Unless it's like first objective is like level 13, or for some reason, this never happens, but level 13 or 15 or something like that, like it's pretty much mid or late game, then consider killing the potted plant. But my general rule of thumb is first objective, ignore it, kill the garden terror directly, and then later objectives, burn the potted plant first. So you get the towers hitting the garden terror. Okay, so that's your game plan for defending. Now, what is your game plan for attacking? Same thing. If it's before level 10, soak 3 lanes. Always soak 3 lanes before level 10. Now, if it's post level 10, consider your comp. So if you're between level 10 and 13, consider what you're going for here. Are you a late game comp, or are you an early game comp? If you're late game comp, probably aren't that strong. Just keep on soaking, get a little bit later game, and don't get too aggressive here. You just want to buy time until the late game. But if you're an early game comp and you need to win early, I would say at level 10, group up as 5 and push for a keep. ETC, Kerrigan, Malfurion, kind of a comp where you're just blowing one person up and snowballing from there, but it's not going to do that well at level 20 in a big team fight. I would say level 10, group up and push for a keep. Do they have people down? You know, if a few people have died and it looks like you might be able to get a keep anyway, even if you are a late game comp, or even if normally you wouldn't go for that keep until level 13, if they have a few people down, or if one lane is opened up particularly, go for the keep. Hey, if you guys are getting value out of this video, can you go ahead and smash that like button? Thanks. Carefully look at the situation and determine, do you want to push this 5, or do you want to just soak all 3 lanes? After level 13, you don't want to get caught split up. You soak all 3 lanes and you have 1, 1, and 3, and the 3-man gets wiped by their 5 people. Now you have 3 people dead for 40 seconds. Your objective's totally wasted and your lead is probably gone. Death timers are too long. After level 13, just group up as 5 and push for a keep with your objective. Another thing I see a lot of the time is people are very reluctant to invade these camps. If you look at the minimap, you're going to have a feeling for where the enemy is. You're going to be looking at the minimap, you're going to say, hey, 3 people are here and Greymane's missing. Where's Greymane? Well, they only have 1 camp up right now. I'll bet you literally everything in the bank that Greymane's soloing this camp. If you're an early game comp, or if you're up a talent tier, go take that camp. Take that camp from Greymane. Don't let him just solo do the camp if you can take it from him. There's no reason to, because if you get a kill and you get a camp, that's a pretty big lead. And it's not going to win you the game, but it's going to get you a nice leg up. It might get you a free objective. If you can steal a camp for free and maybe get a kill as well, don't discount that. Always be looking at the minimap. Try and get on the same page as your tank. A lot of the time, all you need is 1 tank and 1 assassin to get on the same page, and you can make this Greymane or Rhaegar or the camper totally miserable and win the game off of that. All right, so that's the end of part 4, the strategy. Let's jump into part 5, the last part, the most important part. Think ahead. Look at the minimap. See where this objective is going to spawn well in advance. Think about whether you're going to contest it, what you're going to do. Are you going to split push and delay? Are you going to let that one go because it's on their side and they're up a talent here? What are you going to do? Are you going to go contest it and get there early and get set up and gank? What are you going to do? Think about it in advance every single time the objective pops and make a game plan. Ping to your team retreat if you think you should give it. Ping to them, let's get upset early. You know, maybe let's get there early. Maybe get a gank. Just those couple words there, that could be huge. That could really change the difference in your game. Also, make sure you draft a camper. If you don't draft a camper, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, because this map you really need to do a lot of camps. You need to be doing these camps constantly all game. It's a ton of pressure. It's a ton of experience. You can't let both of those things go. You can just lose this map if you don't do these camps over and over and over. The last thing to keep in mind on this map in particular, don't be afraid to group up at level 10 and take a keep. This is the most powerful objective in the game. You will be amazed at how much you can get with a 5-man push in 1 lane, level 10 or level 13, and just go for a keep. Even if the fort's there, with this objective, it's very powerful. The strongest objective in the game. It'll blow right through this fort, and you can get on this keep nice and early and really get yourself a win or a near win sealed in the bag. So I know that was a lot to take in. If there's any questions you guys have, don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can find me at twitch.tv/Chillrogg. I stream Wednesday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern and Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So catch me then. Also, let me know in the comments below what kind of videos you guys want to see. Do you want to see more map guides? Do you want to see some talent guides, some hero guides, some different things? If you haven't subscribed yet, guys, definitely smash that subscribe button so you can get my latest guides, my latest tips and tricks to help you guys get that extra little boost in Storm League. And besides that, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.